So, did Christ come to save everybody, or did he come to save his people?
You trying to say that it's only a certain people that should access to Jesus or to God?
The Bible was written to the Israelites, for the Israelites, by the Israelites.
That's right.
So when we went into slavery, the book was stolen. And they took the book and said that Jesus looked like them.
His head and his hairs were white like wool.
So this is what John saw. He saw Christ. He said, when he looked at him, he said the hair on his head and the hair on his face were white in color, woolly in texture.
As white as snow.
Read.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
What color is this image's eyes? Looks like blue, don't it?
And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burn in a furnace.
Now, it looks more like this depiction than this. Christ would be called a so-called black man if he was walking. So, did Christ come to save everybody, or did he come to save his people? His people. And who are his people?
You consider the tribe of Judah his people?
I consider everybody that's on the sign.
On that thing.
Right, everybody that is on that sign is his people.
So what I'm trying to understand is like, so basically you're trying to say that it's only a certain people that should have
what?
access to Jesus or to God or to, like,
So remember,
just trying to understand the full understanding of what it is that you're trying. Okay, so if the promise was for a certain set of people, does that not mean that it can't available to some other people? Or like I'm just trying to...
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna show you. So the Bible was written to the Israelites, for the Israelites, by the Israelites.
That's right.
So when we went into slavery, the book was stolen. And they took the book and said that Jesus looked like them, that they are the people of God. So technically, it was identity theft. They stole our identity and claiming to be us. While the Jews over in Israel, they're saying that they are the people of God. And when they say that God only belongs to them, nobody gets upset. When they keep to themselves, nobody says anything, right? But when we do it, it's a problem. Why do you think it's a problem when we stand up and claim, wait a minute, when we read the book says that Christ looks like us,
Right.
that the people of God looks like us,
Right.
that the promises of the Bible belong to us.
Right.
It's always a problem.
Because someone else is already claiming it. So it just causes that friction. Like, how are you to, if I'm the, so it's always going to be a bumping of heads.
Right, it's always going to be a bump in the heads, but the way that we get around it is we have to come to the Bible. Drop that, give me Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. So I'm going to show you that it was prophesied thousands of years ago, some things would happen to these people. Now, when we read these, we can see if they apply to them or if they apply to everybody else. Now, that's going to be the deciding factor of who the Bible is actually talking about. Read what you got.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So, is a curse a good or a bad thing?
Depends on how you look at it.
You've heard of a good curse? You've never heard of a good curse. There's no such thing as a good curse. So a curse has to be something bad. I mean, for example, is there such thing as a bad blessing? No, because a blessing is something good.
Like, I just really feel like it depends on how you look on it, because it could be a blessing for one person, and it could be not a blessing for another person.
Yeah, but the blessing is for you specifically.
Right. So I guess I'm just trying to understand, like, so if this is the case in a situation, like, what is it that we should be doing about it? Like, what should be done about it?
That's an excellent question. Right, so we're going to finish read. So he says that if we didn't listen, and if we didn't do the commandments, that we would be cursed as a people, right? So we understand that a curse is a bad thing. So bad things are going to happen to us if we did not keep the commandments. Now we're going to read some of these curses to see if it fits us or if it fits everybody. Read on.
Verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
What people of the majority are cursed in the city? So-called African Americans, so-called Hispanics, so-called Native Americans. When you look at the so-called Asian community, are they cursed?
Not for the most part.
Not for the most part. When you look at the so-called Arab community, are they cursed?
I mean, not in our community. In certain areas in their communities, they are, but not within our community. When they come here,
right. So when you weigh it on a scale, are we more cursed because of the conditions of our people and the environment?
Right, as a whole.
Right, as a whole, right. But when you look at them, you can't say that, right? They're in their communities. I've driven out there in Dearborn and places like that. Their communities, nice, right? You know what I mean?
Over here, they build businesses, they make money, stick together.
Right. They stick together and they take their money and they spend it with themselves. That's something that we don't do as a nation of people, right? But it says that we'll be cursed in the city. So some other curses would be, do we have the best health care or so-called worse health care?
I just feel like that can be a problem for many in our country, unfortunately.
Right.
It's hard to kind of pinpoint that on a certain race in our country, but I do feel like for our people who have not the best access sometimes, not the best treatment,
right, now,
things and such like that.
Absolutely.
The best access.
Right, so there's a hospital called Sinai Grace. Are you familiar with it? Huh?
If something happened to me, don't take me there.
Why is that?
Because it's gonna take me there.
But it's in the middle of our communities, right? Because guess what? We all feel that way. But who does that mainly affect? Because a lot of the other nations, they don't go there. They go to Beaumont, they go to U of M, they go to places, they stay clear but for us, we may not have a choice. So that's being cursed in the city where you don't have a choice but to face death either going in or possibly going out. You know what I mean? But those are things that happen to us in our communities. Another curse in the city would be our education system. Do we get the best education or the worst education? Do we have to change our address to go to a better school because it's away from the inner city? Or can we get the same level of education within the city?
Exactly.
So that's a curse, right? So read that second part. So say cursed in the city and cursed in the what?
And cursed shall thou be in the field.
Cursed shall thou be in the field. When were we cursed in the field? I want you to take a look at these pictures.
Giving cursed.
Right, this is cursed. So did this happen to everybody?
Everybody.
I'm talking about every nation,
race.
right?
No.
Every race. No. So this only happened to us, right? So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And when you even fast forward it to today, certain places like California, you have Mexicans still working these fields for long hours. So this stuff is still going on till this day. Why? They say that they can pay so-called Mexicans cheaper than they pay anybody else, and they'll do the work. That's slave labor. So technically, we're still slaves in this current environment, right? Would you say that we are?
Which one of them you touch?
To a certain degree.
So
A lot of new age slavery going on, but it's still a lot of more opportunity and chances to take in our ancestors.
right,
Systematic and growth and they were just that do make us have to push extra hard, a lot more hard than other people.
absolutely. Because what happened during slavery was the shackles came off, right? But the shackles remain up here. So that's just like, for example, if you have a dog on a leash, and you keep him on that leash, on a short leash, to where he can only go 10, 15 feet, right? That he can go 10, 15 feet. And you keep him like that for a long time. Then you take that leash off. How far he's going to stay. So technically, that's how we are. We have been controlled to the point to where the shackles are off, but guess what? We remain in a slave mentality. That's what we are. Jump down to verse 37.
Yes, sir.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword.
So another curse would be that we would become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword. Hey, my brother. What's your name?
Iran.
Iran? Nice to meet you, bro. So what we're going over, if you come and take a look at this sign, we're going over what our true nationality is according to the Bible. Have you coming back? Okay. All right, my sister. Hey, brother, Iran. Okay. You read that again.
And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee.
So it says that we will become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all the nations where we were scattered. Meaning that our name would be changed. We would be called African American. We would be called niggas. We would be called all these bywords everywhere that the Lord scattered us. Just like today, many of us call ourselves African American. That is a byword according to God. What he really called us, according to the Bible, he called us Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Ephraim, Manasseh, all the way down. That's what we're getting to our people. We're out here to show the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that you are the children of God. And that title does not apply to everybody. Now, I saw earlier that the young man came up and he was asked which one is God or which one is Jesus. Yo, which one did you point to, young man? Second one? This one right here? Okay, so do y'all agree with that? So what y'all teaching them at home?
I didn't do religion.
This is not religion though. Uh-huh.
So I couldn't go there, right?
Right.
So some stuff I teach them that part because I just let them know. But it's not Solomon.
Right.
So
let me say this. Right, so let me say this. If we don't teach our children, somebody else will, right? So where do you think he got that this image was Jesus from?
he just got that.
Huh?
He just got that. He went to vacation Bible school in St. Louis. I don't remember this because I teach him, all that. Everybody that was in.
Right, so now.
We're not black.
Well, you're actually correct. Everybody in the Bible was black. All the prophets, because think about it like this. And we're going to read, get Revelation chapter 1. Actually, get me Song of Solomon 1. Now, you said that his name was Solomon, right? Now, we're going to show you what they said about Solomon, right? Because, like you said you teach them that our people are black. But you just sent him to a vacation Bible study, and basically they erased what you have taught. Because when he says that Christ is white, that means that his mama, his daddy, his people, and Christ came out of the lineage of King David and King Solomon. So guess what that's saying? He's thinking that all of these famous men in the Bible were white men. But think about it. Like when you rationale,
He didn't think it, but I get what you're saying.
Right, I mean, okay, so read what you got. Revelation chapter 1 and verse 14.
Revelation chapter 1, verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool.
So this is what John saw. He saw Christ. He said, when he looked at him, he said the hair on his head and the hair on his face were white in color, woolly in texture. Now, when you look at this image, does he have white woolly hair? No, he doesn't, right? So they have never been able to prove this image in the Bible. They have never, because it's not in there, right? Now, I know you said that you weren't into religion. So we're not into religion either, because religion is man-made. Religion is man-made. So what we do is we're about nationality, heritage, because guess what? According to the Bible, the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans are the Israelites.
That's what.
So we actually come from that lineage of Jesus Christ. We come from the lineage of Jeremiah, Isaiah, Ezekiel, all the prophets, Paul. We come from those people. So, read on.
His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow.
Read.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
So it says that his eyes were as a flame of fire. Does this image of Christ, does it have red eyes?
I can't really see.
Come a little closer. Yep, you can kind of see a little bit. Right, yeah, right. So this image has eyes red. But what about this image? What color is this image's eyes? Looks like blue, don't it? So there's a major contradiction in what they look like, what they gave us, and what the actual truth is. Because who likes to be lied to? Yeah, do you like lies? Do you like to be lied to? No. We all should want the truth, right? Absolutely. Now read on.
Verse 15. And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burn in a furnace.
Now, if y'all was to take y'all shoes off, are your feet the same color as the rest of your body? Yeah. Well, I mean, for the most part, I know a lot of times we don't like to let our feet get sunlight, you know what I mean, to catch up with the rest of our body. So your feet may be a little bit lighter than the rest of your body. But when John looked down at Christ's feet, because back then they wore sandals, right? They didn't wear gym shoes or boots, right? So he said he looked down and his feet was the color of brass. What color is brass? Right, it's like a penny. It's like a penny, right? So he says that Christ's feet look like that, but read.
And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burn in a furnace.
Now you take anything and burn it in a furnace. You put paper, you put white rice, you put chicken. What color is it going to turn out if you burn it? Black, right? Black. So what are we reading here? We read that Christ looks more like this depiction than this. Christ would be called a so-called black man if he was walking the earth today. So that's very important. Now I want y'all to see this sign over here. Where do y'all see yourself at on the sign? You got Judah, Benjamin, Levi. This is what the Bible calls. This is what God calls us. And on this side, this is what we are called today. And it goes by the nationality of your father. So if your father was a so-called African-American, then that will make you an African-American. If your father was a so-called Jamaican, that would make you so-called Jamaican. So what's the nationality of your father? Black. So-called African-American? Okay, so you would be from the tribe of Judah. And what about you, young man? Is your father a so-called African-American?
Yeah. So
that would make you, both of you, from the tribe of Judah. An Israelite from the tribe of Judah. And that's very important because guess what? When Christ comes, he's not coming for African Americans. He's not coming for Mexicans. He's only coming for the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
What is a nation?
Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you. It's nation time.
And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. His word